Lay it on me, I'm listening. I got a good ear, come give it a bend. I can
Who is it? Hey little one. How you doing, baby? Are you ready to try on some outfits, bud? Are you ready? Here we go.
I will be listening. Say what you gotta. I will be listening.
Alright, so little Will has a little food in her now. Habibi.
Your tummy happy?
So now we're going to have a good time checking out some of the outfits that we've got from our travels. See what you think, baby girl.
Yeah, we thought it would be fun because we really haven't done anything with the clothes that we bought backpacking. So I know they're gonna outgrow her soon, and I have yet to take any pictures or videos. So we thought it would be fun to show those and dress her up in them, and then maybe even share some of our experiences in a few of the countries. You want Daddy?
Here we go.
Is that Mama? Is that Mama, baby?
He's saying mama.
This is a huge deal, you guys. She has only said Mama like twice. Did you say Mama? Oh, I'm happy I had that on video. Mama loves you. Oh. Okay, so we finally rounded up all of her clothes and we brought them out. There's not a ton, but I think it's important to preface that when we did our backpacking trip, I wasn't pregnant. We didn't know when we were gonna have a family. We just thought it would be a fun way to bring the culture of those countries we visited home and to like teach our kids and, I don't know, kind of tell our stories that way. So why don't you explain what these are?
So we took a lot of pictures on the trip. Unfortunately, not as much video as we kind of had mentioned before in previous times, but
that's why we want to start this, is because we regret not taking the video.
yeah, so we have these books that have a lot of pictures with a little journal kind of entry on the side of them. So we're going to go over just a couple places that we've been where these clothes came from and hopefully just be able to share a little bit of our experience. And we're really glad that we have these books because they'll always serve as memories for us.
Yeah, we did get this in India. I was searching so hard for a little girl sari. Thought that would have been so cute to get him, especially like, I don't know. One day we're gonna take her back and put her in a little sari at the Taj Mahal, and that'll be so cute. But what we did find was some boys' traditional clothes. Do you remember what these are called?
No.
So just like a little cute boys' outfit. Tanner has one like this. I wish we had him here. They're at my mom's. But I have like a yellow sari and he has like a purple top and white bottoms. But these are super common, very traditional. I feel like, what do you say? Like people wear these every day. Like in where we were at, all the women were in saris mostly.
Yeah, common clothes, often worn, so.
I feel like maybe a little less for guys. So I feel like guys were more in jeans and maybe a t-shirt.
Yeah, for guys it's probably more formal. A wedding, a party, significant event. So yeah, so a couple things that we had from India. Just, we spent over a month there, so we have a lot of memories.
Should we tell a little story? Okay, this one's August 22nd to 23rd, 2018. Never thought we would be so close to Pakistan in our lives. Jaisalmer is basically in the middle of nowhere, and it seems like tourism is a driving force in the small city. We took a 12-hour sleeper train from Jaipur to Jaisalmer, and we were both surprised at how well we slept and how short the journey seemed. We only spent one night here for our overnight camel safari. Riz and I loved riding camels. Okay, maybe not riding them for so long because we got saddle sore not long after we started. To get to our campsite, we left the hotel where we picked up in a Jeep and we stopped by a small town that was evacuated. mysteriously overnight. Do you remember that? Once we got to the Camels, we rode for an hour to our campsite. We only rode on the sand for about 20 minutes, but it was so cool to feel like we were in the Sahara. Our guides were 15 and 16 years old and told us that we were told us they were homeschooled and planned on working in tourism for their future. The guides were excited to cook us dinner and it was good. Menu was pakora, chapati, dal. Then they danced and sung for us, and we slept underneath the stars on some metal frames with a mattress. It was fun being out in the middle of nowhere. The next morning we had some fruit and dreadful plain white bread for breakfast, which Tanner, had become accustomed to eating several slices every day during the trip. We spent the night in Jaipur airport to get on our early morning flight. So then Sri Lanka, we didn't get anything there. What was that? What is like a fast highlight that you had in Sri Lanka?
The crazy bus rides, the crazy trains. Okay, second country was Sri Lanka, and this is in Nuwara Eliya. The train was long and crowded, but beautiful. It's a really famous train ride, probably one of the most popular around the world, known for its views. On the train, we met people from Ireland, Spain, Philippines, and more. In Sri Lanka, we meet people from all over the world every day, which is very different from in India. It's not very common to see white foreigners in India other than in Delhi. Here in Nuwara Eliya, we explored a Lipton tea factory and we walked in the tea fields. This is our favorite thing, as we saw beautiful views standing in the fields. We saw waterfalls here and enjoyed the cool weather. At dinner, we wore our jackets and had our first kotu dish. It was a signature dish of the restaurant and we stayed at, and very hot. We stayed one night here and then left to Ella. So, a lot of fun. Dang good food. If you ever have a kotu, by the way. Yeah.
So we bought this little dress for her. We actually bought two and gave one to my friend who was pregnant with a little girl at the time. And this is definitely like an Americanized kind of style of dress. It's not like a traditional clothing at all, but really cute. I thought it would be fun. And then I think that was all we got in Myanmar. We kept it really small, especially at that point. We have 2 backpacks, so remember, these were with us for the whole trip, so that's why there's very small. Myanmar, some highlights for sure is
Bagan.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the word?
And that's where we got this from. Bagan is the thousands of pagoda temples, the red sand temples that are out overlooking areas, and a really awesome experience. We got to drive these little electric mopeds all over and just had a fun time walking in and around, and at that time even be able to watch the sunrise and sunset on top of these temples. So a very, very unique experience, but we had just a lot of fun on that.
Yeah, we want to go back. I think it's an underrated country. Like, I'm happy more people haven't figured it out yet. So, don't tell people. I'm giving the secrets away. Over the next 3 days, we explored the artwork and architecture of the temples around Bagan and Old Bagan. There's a lot of history in Bagan, and it has a cool feeling while being there. Regardless of the difference of beliefs, being around temples where prayers are offered and meditation takes place, or once did, is really cool and special.
Wouldn't know what to do if you ever decided it was too good to be true.
Okay, so then we went to Indonesia after. Well, we went to Malaysia and then Indonesia. Malaysia was like a 3-day trip. So we stayed in a really cool apartment. We actually slept in the living room floor of a really nice apartment. And we did that so that we could get an infinity view. This is our first night. We just explored Kuala Lumpur. This is where we stayed in the apartment with the infinity pool. We went to a bird. What was it, like this second largest or largest indoor bird?
Aviary.
Not indoor, it was outdoor, but it was covered. And then the second night, I believe, then we stayed at a different apartment complex. It was still Airbnb, but it was right next to this Chinese market. And this is us talking about the food because we loved the food. That was one of the highlights of traveling for sure. So, to go back, we had a crepe one that the old Chinese man poured sweet condensed milk on it, and it had peanuts, and then folded it up in half and in thirds like they do like crepes in America. We paid like a combined 30 cents or something for both the waffle pancake thing and then this crepe mixture. Let's see. The best part of exploring Chinatowns in different cities is the food. Always so different and exciting. From there, we went to Indonesia, and this is where we got these 3 cute halter dresses, and they were how much did we pay for this? I want to say like $1 for all of them, maybe less. Like very cheap, but handmade. And that's what's super cool about them is that they are handmade, and they show the colors. Oh yeah, and they show the colors of a lot of the fabrics that they use there. So I think we also got this in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we got both of these, and these like together you can just see how many cool patterns that they have. This is a really traditional style of clothing for men, and why don't you explain what it's called?
I'm pretty sure it's called a batik, and it's more of a formal wear. So the people that we stayed with and we volunteered at one of their English learning schools, they wore these for special events, but the shirt probably more than not was worn. So I believe this is for a boy, although it could be for both.
Yeah.
But just a fun, unique style of dress that's common in that area.
Seeing castles in June, seeing castles in June. No time but right now, and no one but me and you.
Fun experience that we had was in Klaten, and it was a small village that we went to volunteer, and we stayed with a family through Workaway.
Workaway.
Yeah,
or HomeAway. I think Workaway.
One of those online organizations that you can reach out to someone and go to their home or go to their business and help out and have free stay and sometimes free food. And so we stayed inside of a school because that's where the family lived. So it was very interesting, very humbling experience, and little sleep because it was like 90 degrees at night, probably 90% humidity, and just a very unique and raw experience that we had. But as you can kind of see in some of these pictures, we had a great opportunity to help teach English and then set ground for a nonprofit that in 2019 we were able to follow up and go have a nonprofit trip there, teaching nutrition education. So just reading a little excerpt here. Yeah, so we sang songs with the visually impaired students, played games with our hands. It was fun talking with them with the little English they knew. They are sweet souls, and even though we could have been spending time with a lot more students, Ovik, he was the guy who we stayed with.
We love Ovik. He's like our second family.
Yeah. Ovik wanted to visit them once a week. But overall, just a really awesome experience that these people, they just have the same likes as others, and so just a unique, touching experience to be outside of the U.S., find people with similar likes, similar talents, different abilities, and just see how that can impact us, and really touching.
From there, we went to Vietnam. And this is where we got this, actually. Do you remember where we got this?
No, I don't.
So we went on a motorcycle ride for, was it 3 nights?
Yeah.
And 4 days. And we went to the Ha Giang region, Providence, and it was incredible. There was rice fields. We were just like, sometimes we were the only ones on the road for like hours, I feel like. And we were just like going to all these rural villages in the mountainsides with like rice paddy fields all over around us, super green. And one of the stops, there was like that canyon, do you remember? Where the water came in. And we like stopped at a market.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere. And this is where we found this. So these colors were very common in that area. I remember passing women wearing really similar colors. Sometimes they were just like a skirt, and then they'd have on coats because it was cold. And they would have on big, was it sugar cane that they were carrying?
Yeah, I think it was sugar cane or it was corn or...
Yeah, and they were like trekking up these things with then like warm boots on. So I don't know. I just like have that vivid memory of these colors. Really, really cool. It's right next to the Chinese border as well. So there's a lot of influence from China in that area.
And Marissa mentioned it before, but the Hazan Peninsula, or the Hazan province, excuse me, was by far our favorite moment in Vietnam. And this is where we went into the Hazan area and rode the electric motorbikes all over. So just a little excerpt from there. The bus ride from Hanoi to Hazang was terrible. For starters, it was raining. There were a lot of curves in the road, and Vietnamese drivers don't know how to take their foot off the gas. Unfortunately, it seemed like every time I got onto a bus, I had to go pee about 20 minutes into the drive. This is Marissa, mind you. I don't know if this was mentioned before, but no joke, when we were on our way from Yangon to Bagan, Myanmar, I honestly had to go pee so bad that I ended up
Why are we giving that?
Use your imagination. With that in mind, think back to this bus ride from Hanoi to Hazang. Anyway, I guess we go back and forth of how we had to ask the bus driver to stop and go pee. The next day we were leaving on a 3-night, 4-day motorbike tour around the beautiful Hazang area. And that day we picked our helmets and got everything ready for our journey tomorrow. We also explored a few of the streets of Hazang, as well as ate dinner at a restaurant nearby the hotel. I don't remember what it was called, but oh man, it had the best blueberry smoothie ever. I think that was Marissa.
It seriously did.
Me.
Yeah, that was me.
It was the one and only smoothie I had in our whole trip in Asia, and I was in heaven. When we got back from our journey, we went back for another. When it came to food while traveling, we enjoyed as much as we could while still practicing intuitive eating habits. We never felt guilty for trying and enjoying food in each area. And I'm so grateful because we had some of the best food ever. We both crave it.
And then from there, we went to Cambodia. I can't remember. Was this Cambodia or Thailand?
I think it was Thailand.
Doesn't look like Thailand or Thai.
Oh, it could have been. Could have been Cambodia.
If you can read this, where did we get this?
It's probably Cambodia.
I think.
Which would have been in Phnom Penh, or it would have been at Siem Reap.
Yeah.
So.
This is a boys one. Little cute top and bottom there. So that will be fun for when we have a boy.
Just another beautiful picture from Vietnam. But the next page is what
That's
I meant to say.
Ninh.
The next few pages were in Cambodia, and just kind of a little street view there. But what we really went to Cambodia for was for Siem Reap, and that's Angkor Wat. So really beautiful, a lot of cool history. We definitely recommend, if you are in the area of the Southeastern Asia countries, to go there. So Siem Reap has a touristy area where they have a few different markets and then a lot of eating places. We had Indian food one of the days, a Mediterranean gyro for another day for only $1, and then Cambodian food. Skipping ahead, on the day we explored Angkor Wat, we woke up at 3 a.m. and got our motorbike rental and drove ourselves out there. When we arrived, there were already so many people there. We decided to watch some of the views from the very outside of the temple, and then made our way into the temple grounds once the sun started rising more. I'm really glad we left to go inside when we did and not any later, because the views from inside were so incredible. Angkor Wat is huge, and the palm trees on the grounds just make it so magical. There were a few birds flying above, which added to the whole effect. Sadly, though, we were not alone. There were a couple hundred other folks there for sure. We were guessing 300 to 500 just standing inside of the main temple grounds for the sunrise. Marissa ended up squeezing her way through people to get a picture at the reflection pond. After that, we walked up a little ways and then we ate our breakfast inside.
You guys, seriously, pro tip, like go inside. This is from the outside of it that you can see they have like these cement steps to get in, and that was the view. But once you go through these gates, which is that area right there, it is so incredible. Yeah, and then from then we didn't really purchase anything else. Thailand, we didn't. And none of like the
Australia,
westernized countries. So in Thailand, we spent 5 days in Bangkok, which was for sure a highlight. I'd been there for a month before when Tanner was on his mission. Oh yeah? And so anyways, we tasted a lot of incredible food. That's probably the highlight, is we love Thai food. And we just explored everything Bangkok had to offer. After going to Bangkok, we left to Khao Sok, the national park there. And we had an interesting experience. That one night we chilled around the hotel and took a walk to see what hikes in the rainforest we wanted to do the next day. The Cowsock rainforest is so thick with trees, and later we found out it has a lot of leeches. While we were on the hike, we both ended up having leeches hitchhike into our sandals and start freeloading on our blood supply for a few seconds until we pulled them off. They were about the length of a sewing needle and as thick as yarn, but they packed a bite. I had to pull 2 of them off wrist, and hers bled for a little while after, and we realized there was still a piece in her foot, which was unfortunate because there was some lingering pain after that. Overall, we would have chosen to go to the lake and explore that part of the park, but because we weren't able to see as much as we wanted to, and it was just one of those experiences that you wish you could redo and not lose the time. But it was expensive at the time. Well, not at the time. It was about $80 per person, which for us, I mean, being 4 months into a trip was kind of hard to pay at that time. But we definitely regret we would have done that. So if you're in Cowsock National Park, for sure go to the boat. You can even explore some of the jungle. We just went on some hikes ourselves and ended up getting leeches. Look what I just found, you guys. I thought that we had bought something else in Thailand, and turns out we did. I just didn't find them till later. So look how cute these little yoga pants are. I think they are adorable, and yeah, so I wanted to show you we did end up getting these in Thailand as well. Cannot wait for her to wear these.
So there's just a few memories from our trip that we had, and it's been a lot of fun to look over the memories, and we definitely want to do a video showing more and describing more of the places that we went and just kind of giving tips, kind of giving a overall view of how our trip went.
Hey Willa, which one do you want to put on? Should we put on one? Huh? Do you want to get dressed up? This is just like so special for me to be able to, don't you feel like that, to be able to like put her in these?
Yeah.
Look at you, big girl.
And I will be listening. Tell me all about you, and I will be listening.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.